Welcome to the news on NT International. I am Vivian Ezadife. Let's begin with the headlines. Eligible voters cast their ballots in Anambra governorship election. Federal government moves to tackle unemployment among young Nigerians. Plus, United Nations Refugee Agency canvasses for urgent global support to assist thousands of Sudanese refugees. Now on the news in full. Eligible voters turn out to exercise their civic rights in the Anambra State Governorship Election 2025. The election was conducted in 21 local government areas with over 5,700 polling units. Accreditation and voting commenced peacefully with the presence of security personnel to ensure law and order. Some of the voters and elections observers applauded INEC for ensuring proper arrangements. Anambra is one of the 8 states where elections are held outside of the general election timetable. About 16 candidates appeared on the ballot. As at the time of this report, counting and sorting have ended in various polling units with collation of results ongoing at various collation centers. In this report, Uchenna Nwokoyo tells us that in all the polling units monitored in Onitsha North and South local government areas experienced peaceful and orderly conduct of voters. Let's see the report.
Electoral materials were deployed early enough to the various polling units in Onitsha North and South local government areas. The process is orderly with security agents conducting themselves professionally.
It's a wonderful situation because it makes all of us to prove ourselves as citizens of Anambra State and to know where we're going for a better leadership.
People are getting more aware, of what the election is all about. For Onitsha here, not seeing any act of, disturbance.
It was also observed that not all polling units had massive turnout of voters.
I must commend the security personnel, there are those here from Army, Police, and other agencies, road safety.
The electorate, however, commended INEC for deploying materials on time to the polling units in Onitsha. Uchenna Nwokoyo, NTN News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has left Belém, Brazil for Abuja after a successful diplomatic engagement in the South American country where he represented President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 30th session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference. During the event, Nigeria reaffirmed its determination to continue to use its influence to seek solutions to climate change in Africa and beyond. The conference, convened by Brazilian President Lula da Silva in collaboration with the United Nations and other global partners, was held from November 6th to 7th in the city of Belém, capital of the state of Pará in the Brazilian Amazon. Vice President Shettima also represented President Bola Tinubu at a high-level thematic session titled Climate and Nature, Forests and Oceans on the margins of COP30, where he delivered Nigerians' bold statements. The Nigerian Vice President also took part in the launch of the Tropical Forest Forever Fund and participated in a roundtable chaired by President Lula on climate and nature, as well as an Amazonian cocktail for heads of delegation hosted by the President of Brazil. It was a meeting of purpose, strategy and partnership as Nigeria and Ghana took decisive steps to confront one of West Africa's most pressing challenges, human trafficking and transnational organized crime. At the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center in Abuja, the Criminal Investigation Department of both countries convened a high-level bilateral meeting to strengthen collaboration, share intelligence, and design a sustainable roadmap to tackle trafficking networks operating across borders. Francis Form reports.
Human trafficking in West Africa, once considered a low-level crime, has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise driven by poverty, unemployment, and deception, from low labor to sexual exploitation and organ harvesting. Traffickers prey on society's most vulnerable, often aided by modern technology. Today's traffickers use artificial intelligence, fake online job portals, social media recruitment, and cryptocurrency transactions to lure and control victims. This bilateral meeting is to outline practical steps towards addressing these challenges.
As human trafficking is profit-driven, we must strengthen our capacity in financial intelligence, money laundering, and asset training to dismantle the entire criminal enterprise.
So there's a need for us to work together to do much more in this fight against cybercrime. We are all signatories to the Palermo Protocol, hence the need for us to work together to ensure that we are doing much more for our various citizens across our borders.
The meeting, therefore, sets the stage for a broader West African police chiefs dialogue, a united front against the scourge of human exploitation in the sub-region. Francis from NTA News.
While in Sudan, the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, has called for urgent global support to assist thousands of Sudanese refugees who continue to cross into Chad, fleeing renewed violence in Sudan's Darfur region. The agency says Chad's capacity to host more refugees is being stretched to its limits as humanitarian needs continue to rise. Francis Udojo has more.
The United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, has called on the international community to provide urgent assistance to Chad as thousands of Sudanese refugees continue to flee into the country following renewed fighting in Sudanese Darfur region. The humanitarian situation in Chad is worsening as more refugees pour in from Sudanese conflict-ravaged Darfur region. Many of the new arrivals fled from El Fasher, a city that had been under siege for over 500 days. During her visit to Fachana camp in Chad, the UNHCR Deputy High Commissioner Kelly Clements expressed deep concern over the condition of the refugees, describing their experiences as deeply traumatic. Clements commended the government of Chad for its continued hospitality towards refugees, but emphasized that the country and its agencies are overstretched. She called for stronger international support to meet growing humanitarian needs, both in Chad and within Sudan.
It's a city that had been under siege for 500 days. These are people in desperate need, and there are also people that are arriving to Chad that need everything from a safe place to be, to shelter, to clean water, to an ability to be able to restart their lives.
Since the outbreak of conflict in April 2023 between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces, more than 40,000 people have been killed and over 11 million displaced, making it one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises. Francis Dojo, NT News.
To South Africa now, the diplomatic atmosphere around South Africa has continued to draw international attention as President Cyril Ramaphosa meets Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican, even as the United States announces a boycott of the upcoming G20 summit scheduled to hold in South Africa. Francis Udojo again reports that while the meeting at the Vatican focused on dialogue and peace, political tensions continue to brew elsewhere.
At the Apostolic Palace in the Vatican, President Cyril Ramaphosa was warmly received by Pope Leo XIV in a meeting described as a gesture of mutual respect and cooperation. The two leaders discussed global peace, intercultural understanding, and the shared responsibility of nations to promote justice and compassion. The cordial exchange came just hours after U.S. President Donald Trump announced that no American delegation will attend the forthcoming G20 summit in South Africa, a move that has sparked widespread diplomatic reactions. President Trump writing on his social media platform, cited alleged abuses and violence against white Afrikaner farmers as justification for the boycott, describing South Africa's selection as summit host as a complete disgrace. He also reiterated earlier calls for South Africa to be expelled from the G20, claiming persistent human rights concerns. In a swift response, President Cyril Ramaphosa dismissed the allegations as baseless and misleading, insisting that there is no government policy or practice targeting any racial group in the country. Officials in Pretoria noted that more than 3 decades after apartheid, white South Africans still enjoy a significantly high standard of living than most black citizens, a reality that contradicts claims of persecution. The development marks the latest in a string of diplomatic frictions between the Trump administration and South Africa. Amid these tensions, President Ramaphosa's engagement with the Vatican is being viewed as a strong signal of South Africa's diplomatic resilience, emphasizing peace, unity, and moral leadership on the global stage. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to improving the nation's road network by ensuring transparency in project implementation and management, as well as upholding professional standards in engineering practice. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Goronyo, stated this at the 30th meeting of the National Council of Works held in Ado-Ekiti with the theme Discipline, Transparency and Innovation in Engineering Practices. Olukemi Sonny reports.
The minister, who described the theme as not only timely but deeply aligning with the national development priorities of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the minister emphasized that the ministry is exploring partnerships with private sector and international organizations to bring advanced technologies and AI-assisted project planning into the nation's engineering practice.
This government is committed to strengthening procurement reforms, ensuring competitive buildings, competitive building, publishing project details, partnership with anti-corruption agencies, institutional transparency, build trust, and deliver value.
We are convinced that improved infrastructure is essential to unlocking our full potential and creating opportunities for future generations.
The 5-day meeting drew stakeholders from across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to deliberate, re-strategize, shape the future of infrastructure delivery and engineering policy in Nigeria. In Ado-Ekiti, Olukemi Sonny, NTA News.
In a nation where infrastructure is the backbone of economic growth and social connectivity, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, stands at the forefront of Nigerians' efforts to transform its road network. Yet, the challenge goes beyond construction. It's about cultivating a culture of maintenance that ensures roads serve generations, not just monetary needs. In this report, Usman Zubairu examines the culture of maintenance and finds out if the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, will bring you details of the reports in our subsequent bulletin. In continuation of its statutory oversight of federal universities, the House of Representatives Committee on University Education is advising vice-chancellors to desist from spending UN-appropriated funds or face punishment under the financial crime laws. This came from the committee chairman, Abubakar Hassan, during an interface with the management of Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
You generated the fund and you spend it yourself without appropriation, in which you don't have the power to do that. Please, it's a grave offense on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we should take it very, very serious.
In your IG Act, maybe in 2023, you have 10 students and you collected 100 million, for example. And in 2024, you have 100 students and you collected 50 million. How can you reconcile that?
On 2 occasions, addressed all the vice chancellors of Nigerian universities before the commencement of the budgetary process. And up to now, I've not seen a very coherent compliance to that effect.
These are observations of the committee on some of the identified infractions committed by the university in 2023-2024 budget utilization. The Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Professor Nnenna Oti, represented notes the infractions raised, urging the committee to assist in addressing infrastructure deficit in the institution.
Having noted the comments, the questions or queries, as the case may be, we promise to go back and do the needful, so that by when you come here next year, you see us better than we are today.
While at the Albany Koko Federal University of Education, the Vice-Chancellor briefed committee members on the achievements so far recorded since it transitioned from a college to the university status.
The essence of this exercise is for you to nurture us, to guide us, to comply, with the extant laws. Nobody knows everything, and we learn every day.
The committee continues the oversight at federal universities in the South-South zone. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
You are still watching the news on NTA International. More reports shortly. Do stay. Welcome back. The Equipment Leasing Registration Authority, ELRA, has embarked on an awareness campaign aimed at promoting understanding of equipment leasing operations and their benefits to businesses and the economy. The campaign seeks to enlighten stakeholders on regulatory compliance, financing opportunities, and how leasing can drive economic growth. Isaac Jibo reports on the sensitization exercise.
The Equipment Leasing Registration Authority, ELRA, has intensified efforts to promote understanding of equipment leasing through an awareness campaign. The exercise aimed to educate stakeholders on the benefit of leasing as a financial option and its contribution to national development. ELRA officials highlighted the agency's mandate as a regulatory body established by an Act of National Assembly under the supervision of the federal government. The event featured an interactive session with discussion on leasing procedures, registrations, and financial opportunities.
It is there to make every Nigerian to be very productive, to have that power, to give you that power of the economic power to do your businesses. In short, with ERA, you are protected. Both the lessors and the lessees, they are well protected in their transactions.
This is a very dynamic, strategic reform of the present administration, talking about the renewed hope agenda to energize, strengthen, and create a more resilient economy.
With this act right now, the whole world can see down that Nigeria has a regulation that governs leasing, and as such, we should expect foreign direct investment from international bodies and foreign countries. And locally, our citizens are now encouraged to go into leasing practice.
Participants commended ELRA for strengthening confidence in equipment leasing operations.
It's very significant because I now know the procedures and the processes of what to expect if I'm to purchase an equipment, or if I'm to partner with a company or any contractor in the future.
So the equipment leasing of tractors really interests me. I learn a lot. I am so happy to be here. So I pray that government will not go back on their promise. If we come to lease their equipment, they will not give us price.
The engagement provided a platform for deeper understanding and practical insight as stakeholders commended ELRA for its proactive initiative. In Abuja, Isaac Jibo, NTA News.
In a move to tackle unemployment and empower young Nigerians, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NACIMA, has partnered with the Gießen-Friedberg Chambers of Commerce in Germany to create new pathways for youth employment and skills development. Moplang Dankok reports.
Youths constitute about 70% of Nigeria's population, yet unemployment and underemployment remain major challenges confronting them. This partnership between the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NACIMA, and the Gießen-Friedberg Chambers of Commerce in Germany aims to bridge this gap by expanding opportunities for youth employment. Already, 18 Nigerians have been selected for the pilot phase of the initiative.
We have started now a program to train young Nigerians in the area of hospitality. They already passed the A1 level, and next year they will fly to Germany in order to start their 3 years of dual vocational training.
When they have vocational skills, we up their skills, they will become very marketable. So that makes it a very, very good program which we want to skill up and get more young Nigerians, to participate and get exported out of Nigeria officially, and that will help legal migration.
Young people can come and do their business, they get support, there's a business center adjacent to it, so they can really scale up their business there and get support from the chamber movement.
The collaboration is expected to translate to economic prosperity and improved livelihoods for young Nigerians. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok.
Road users across the country are being encouraged to take responsibility of their safety while on transit throughout the festive season and even beyond to stem the tide of road crashes and fatalities on Nigerian highways. This is coming from a town hall meeting organized as part of activities lined up for the 2025 Federal Road Safety Corps Ember Month campaign in Lokoja. On the theme, take responsibility for your safety, stop distracted driving. Solomon Ayidehi reports.
The town hall meeting at the instance of the Federal Road Safety Corps Kogi State Command is to rally stakeholders towards enhancing safer motoring on Kogi routes, particularly during the festive period. State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Tenimu Yusuf Etuku, describes the Ember months as a season of high vehicular movement with avoidable road crashes, which often results in injuries and deaths. He identifies overspeeding, fatigue, overloading, dangerous driving and seatbelt violations as some of the root causes of road crashes, expressing the command's resolve to step up advocacy and sensitization campaigns, build workable partnerships with relevant stakeholders, in addition to carrying out enforcement of traffic rules and regulations to stem the tide of road crashes.
We're going to deploy all our men to the road to ensure safety.
So whenever you are in the vehicle or you are on bike, don't allow the bike rider or the keke rider or the driver to take responsibility of your own safety. Your safety lies in you.
Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, represented by the State Security Advisor, Jerry Omodara, and other stakeholders, restated the commitment to support the Federal Road Safety Corps in achieving its mandate throughout the Yuletide.
Please enforce and do your job. Any driver found wanting, take the necessary step. You are boarding a vehicle, knows that your life is in the hand of the driver. Allow the driver to do the best he knows he can do as a road user.
Road users are expected to take their safety in their hands undistracted before, during, and after the festive season. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
And to Nasarawa State, the Deputy National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Abdul Karim Kana, is taxing youth across the country to embrace the current reforms being embarked upon by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for their educational advancement and economic empowerment. Professor Kana handed down the challenge while while addressing youth in Nasarawa State across political divide on the need for them to play active roles in the tasks of nation building. Bilkisu Grunku reports.
Drawn from the 13 local government areas of Nasarawa State, the youth comprised leaders from each council ward. Professor Kana notes that the reforms by the president, including the various empowerment programs and the student loan fund, is yielding the needed results, and observed that never in recent history of the country that there is conscious effort to lay a solid foundation for economic prosperity, as demonstrated by the various reforms of the federal government.
His Excellency the President, having withdrawn the subsidy and introduced a lot of very good economic policies.
Professor Kana dissuades the youth from being used by enemies of states to constitute social vices, but as future leaders to key behind the reforms for a robust national development. The senator representing Nasarawa West Senatorial District, Aliyu Ahmed Wadada, urged the youth to strive to take up responsibility from the numerous opportunities provided by the government. The youths were full of appreciation to the Nasarawa State and the federal governments for deliberately creating rules for them in governance and pledged sustained support toward a greater nation.
Do not forget to conduct yourselves within the rings, the confines, and teachings of righteousness.
The youths were full of appreciation to the Nasarawa State and the federal governments for deliberately creating rules for them in governance and pledged sustained support toward a greater nation.
The Council remains committed to ideals and every effort that will enhance the development of the youth in the state, in particular Nigeria in general.
In Lafia, Bilkisu Umar Gurku, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 7 on NTA International. I am Vivian Ezadifi. Thanks for watching.